got a dang flamethrower.
It's the grass machine.
Let's see it. Okay, so this is an alternative of a weed killer. You don't need any weed killer.
Of course, 2 days after I leave High Point Haven, Harriet has her baby. But I've been told to give y'all a little update because they need help naming this little... I can't tell you if it's a boy or girl, okay? That's not my thing to tell. Do I know? Yes, of course I know. But they're gonna be doing that reveal themselves on their own page. So on TikTok, it's Gerald's Life. On Facebook, it's High Point Haven. So if you're not...
What happened when your roommate wanted to split everything? My roommate Hannah walked into the kitchen while I was putting away groceries I'd bought for us. She announced, "This sharing system is unfair. You buy expensive organic milk I never drink. We'd been splitting everything 50-50 for 6 months without a single issue." I pointed out, "You finished my expensive conditioner yesterday and used my prescription acne wash Tom needed." She waved me off like I was being ridiculous. From now on, we each buy our own everything. No borrowing, no sharing, nothing. She'd been complaining to her sister about me all week. "I already told my family I'm setting boundaries with you. They agree I've been too generous." Her family had always acted like I was taking advantage of her. I asked, "Complete separation?" She nodded firmly. "Your stuff, my stuff, no exceptions. I'm making a new chore chart too. Separate cleaning supplies, separate everything." I felt my chest tighten but kept my voice calm. I said, "If that's what you want." Hannah smiled smugly, and I knew she thought she'd won something. She only cared about the milk. She never thought about batteries, toilet paper, or medicine. I spent that evening dividing everything we owned. My cleaning supplies went under my bathroom sink. My groceries got labeled. Even the spare batteries went in my room. Hannah thought it was hilarious until the next morning when karma hit fast. She was blow drying her hair when it suddenly died. She asked, "Did you take the batteries from the remote?" I told her, "Those were mine. I bought them." Her face went pale because her blow dryer was dead and she needed batteries immediately. She practically shrieked, "I have a presentation in an hour." I shrugged and said, "Should have bought your own." She went to work with her hair half styled. 3 days later, Hannah was deep cleaning for her parents' visit when her vacuum bag filled up. "Do you have spare bags?" she asked. I replied, "In my room, but we don't share." She tried using the full bag anyway, and I watched from the couch as the vacuum exploded dust everywhere, coating our previously clean apartment. Her parents arrived to find her covered in dirt, frantically wiping surfaces with paper towels because I'd locked my cleaning supplies away. Her mom asked, "Why don't you use the Lysol?" She pointed at my labeled bottles visible under the sink. I explained, "Hannah's rule. We keep everything separate." Her mom stared at Hannah with complete disappointment and said, "This is embarrassing." The situation escalated when Hannah got food poisoning from sketchy takeout. She was violently sick and ran out of toilet paper at 2 a.m. She begged through my door, "Please, I'm really sick." My stomach actually twisted because she sounded awful, but I stuck to her rules. I said, "Gas station's open all night." She had to drive while severely ill, and when she got back, she'd run out of her Pepto-Bismol too. "Can I please have some?" she asked. I reminded her, "Your words." She suffered all night, and I heard every miserable minute of it. The real breaking point came during her job interview preparation. She was printing her portfolio when her printer ran out of ink mid-page. "I need to borrow ink," she said desperately. I stayed firm. "The interview is in 30 minutes. She panicked. I told her, "Office store's 10 minutes away." She had to choose between being late or going without her portfolio. She chose to go without it and came home crying because the interviewer asked 3 times where her work samples were. Her boyfriend Tom witnessed the madness when he cut himself cooking. "Where's the Band-Aids?" he asked while blood dripped on the counter. Hannah searched frantically through her disorganized bathroom drawer. "I can't find them," she yelled. Tom wrapped his finger in paper towels, blood seeping through. "This is insane," he yelled at Hannah. Hannah's company announced work from home days, and suddenly she needed everything she didn't have. No printer ink for contracts, dead desk lamp during video calls, no spare anything. She looked defeated when she admitted one night, "This is destroying my life. Can we please go back to normal?" I felt a twinge of sympathy until I remembered what she'd done. I asked, "Normal? You told your entire family I was using you." She said quietly, "I was wrong. I'll tell everyone." I shook my head. "But according to you, sharing was unfair. I was taking advantage. Why would you want to share with someone like that?" I watched her realize the trap. She couldn't admit to her family that she'd lied about me without looking like an idiot who manufactured drama. Her pride wouldn't let her confess the truth. Hannah begged, "Please, I need this to end." I said, "You wanted this. Your family still thinks I'm a user." She exploded. "Then I'm moving out." I replied, "Good luck finding a roommate who meets your no sharing standards." Nobody wanted to live with her. What happened when your roommate wanted to split everything? My roommate I woke up from surgery, and the nurse said your emergency contact changed while you were under. My husband and mother were standing there smiling. Then the doctor walked in, and their smiles disappeared. I had been married to Dean for 7 years. We met through my mother. She worked with his aunt and set us up on a blind date. From the beginning, my mother loved Dean more than she loved me. That sounds dramatic, but it's true. She would call him directly to chat. She would take his side in every argument. She would tell me how lucky I was that someone like him settled for someone like me. I was never good enough for my mother. I was too fat as a child, too quiet as a teenager, too plain as an adult. She never missed a chance to remind me. But Dean was perfect in her eyes. Handsome, charming, successful, the son she never had. What neither of them knew was that I had built a small business on the side. I started it 5 years ago, selling handmade jewelry online. It began as a hobby, but grew into something real. I kept it separate from my joint accounts with Dean. I had my own business account, my own savings, my own money. I never told him because he controlled everything else. He decided where we lived. He decided how we spent money. He decided when we visited my mother and how long we stayed. The jewelry business was mine, the only thing that was just mine. Then I got sick. I needed surgery to remove a tumor from my abdomen. The doctor said it was probably benign, but they wouldn't know until they went in. I was terrified. I asked Dean to be there when I woke up. He said of course. He said he loved me. He said everything would be fine. The surgery took 4 hours. When I woke up, I was groggy and confused. A nurse was checking my vitals. She smiled at me and said the surgery went well. Then she said something strange. By the way, your emergency contact was updated while you were in surgery. Your husband handled the paperwork. I didn't understand. I asked her what she meant. She said my emergency contact used to be listed as my friend Wendy. Now it was listed as my mother. I was too out of it to question it further. Then Dean walked in with my mother right behind him. They were both smiling. Not worried smiles, not relieved smiles, satisfied smiles, like they had won something. My mother sat on the edge of my bed and patted my hand. How are you feeling, sweetheart? I said I was tired. Dean stood by the window with his arms crossed. He looked impatient, like he had somewhere else to be. The doctor should be coming soon to discuss next steps, my mother said. We've already talked to him about your care plan. You'll be staying with me during recovery. Dean thinks it's best. I looked at Dean. You want me to stay with my mother? It makes sense. I have to work. Your mother is retired. She can take care of you. Something felt wrong. Dean never wanted me to spend time with my mother before. He always complained about her visits. He always rushed us out of her house. Now he wanted me to live there? The doctor came in before I could ask more questions. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. He looked at Dean and my mother, then at me. Mrs. Webb, I have good news. The tumor was benign. We got it all. You should make a full recovery. I felt tears in my eyes. I was going to be okay, but the doctor wasn't finished. I do need to discuss something with you privately. Would you like your family to step out? Dean stepped forward. I'm her husband. The doctor said they discovered something unexpected during surgery. I was pregnant, about 8 weeks along. The room went silent. I stared at him. That's impossible. Dean had a vasectomy 3 years ago. Dean grabbed the bed rail, knuckles white. There must be a mistake. Run the test again. We ran it twice. She's definitely pregnant. I looked at my husband, the man who told me we couldn't have children because he didn't want them. The man who made me cry for weeks because I had always wanted to be a mother. You never got the vasectomy, I said. You lied to me. He couldn't look at me. My mother was staring at the floor. He said he was going to tell me eventually. He just wasn't ready. My mother answered the rest. He was going to leave you after you recovered. We were going to help you move into my house, and then he was going to file for divorce. He met someone else. They've been together almost a year. I stared at my own mother. You knew? She said she was trying to protect me. I started laughing. The absurdity of it all. My husband cheating. My mother helping him plan his exit. Both of them standing over my hospital bed thinking they were in control. But now I'm pregnant, I said. Dean's face hardened. It might not even be mine. I told him I'd never been with anyone else. He was the one with the girlfriend. I told them both to get out. They left. I lay there staring at the ceiling. Pregnant, husband cheating, mother betrayed me, and somehow I felt lighter than I had in years. I called my friend Wendy. She came within an hour and helped me make calls. Divorce lawyer, accountant, realtor. Dean didn't know about my jewelry business or the $187,000 I'd saved. He thought I was a housewife with no options. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. He got no. I woke up from surgery, and the nurse said your emergency contact changed while you were under. My husband and mother were standing there.
Bro, okay. Chat. I'm not streaming Fortnite, but it'll be okay. Alright.
Name a drink for me.
A drink?
Yeah.
God's milk. Orange juice.
Nick.
You starting to
Now, you know what?
You starting to
You pissing me off because orange juice is whatever. What if he really made goat's milk pop out of
I wanted to see the goat milk.
Name a drink for me.
a drink?
Yeah.
Goat's milk.
Oh, that's funny.
Ellie, what are we about to do?
Cuddle a cow.
Have you ever cuddled a cow before?
I've never done that. I've seen a lot of cows.
And you never thought to just stop and cuddle one?
Never.
Okay, well, now you are thinking about it because we're doing it right now.
Ellie, what does a cow say? What? I'm an angry cow. Hopefully these aren't angry cows. Hug baby cows.
That's for Ellie. What is that? Are you gonna cuddle some of these? Ellie. Oh.
He's so soft. That's a lot bigger than Yummy and Groovy's tail, huh?
Oh. Look at her hugging the cow.
That's ridiculous. She's literally hugging me.
You're getting a cow cuddle.
I get it.
You want to pet the baby one? Okay. So sweet.
I know. She's hugging me. She hugged me.
Ellie, what are we about to do?
My mother-in-law spent years telling my husband's identical twin he should test me by pretending to be him until I
Hold on. Why would you do that anyway, bro? Like, there's seriously no need to do that. You found out about that. Cut him out. Cut him out. Oh my god.
finally blew up, and both twins took my side. I met my husband Ravi through his identical twin Arjun at a co-worker's housewarming 6 years ago. Arjun and I ended up stuck at the same tiny kitchen island for an hour, and we clicked instantly. Same terrible taste in horror movies, same habit of quoting them. When he found out I'd been trying to teach myself to play bass, he lit up and said, "Okay, you have to meet my brother. He's actually good." Ravi turned up later, smelling like a rehearsal space, and we talked until the host started stacking chairs. Arjun looked insufferably pleased with himself the whole night. 4 years later, Ravi and I got married. Arjun was best man. It was perfect right up until the rehearsal dinner. That's where it started. Ravi's mother, Sunita, stood to give a little toast, and midway through, she looked over at Arjun and said, "You two are so alike. You could just swap tomorrow," and she'd walk down the aisle to the wrong one. Everyone did the nervous laugh. I smiled through it. Ravi squeezed my hand under the table hard enough to leave a mark. I told myself it was a one-off. It wasn't. Our first Diwali as a married couple, his father backed Arjun into the kitchen while I was refilling a water jug 2 feet away. "You should slip into their room tonight," he said, plenty loud. "See if she can tell." Arjun went red and told him to knock it off. His dad just chuckled and wandered away. Every gathering, the same bit. New Year's. Sunita seated Arjun beside me and stage whispered, "Let's see how long before she notices." Ravi's birthday. His dad floated the idea that the twins should trade for the evening as a laugh. Even his sister chimed in once. "Honestly, how do you know which one you actually married?" I started dreading their house. Ravi noticed. "Just let it roll off," he'd say. "They think it's hilarious," but it wasn't. It made my stomach turn. Arjun hated it too. He pulled me aside at a barbecue and apologized. Said he'd told them 100 times and they wouldn't hear it. His girlfriend Priya stood next to him looking like she wanted to sink into the floor. The breaking point was last month, at his parents' anniversary party. 3 years married. I was helping Sunita carry plates out when she said, "Light as anything. You know, Arjun met you first. He should have made his move. You'd have suited each other better. Ravi's so serious." I set the plates down. "Excuse me? I'm only saying. You and Arjun have more spark. It's a compliment, really." And she smiled. Later, we were all in the front room. Ravi and I on one couch, Arjun and Priya across from us, his parents deep into a second bottle, and Sunita said it, the thing that finally did it. "Arjun, go on. Sneak into their room tonight," she giggled. I bet she wouldn't even know. Just to see. I stood up. I was shaking. "Stop." The room went silent. "Stop. Right now. For 3 years, you've been suggesting your son climb into my bed pretending to be my husband. You've been telling me I'm too stupid to recognize the man I married. You've been calling my marriage a mistake to my face. Which part of that was ever the joke?" His dad started. "Now hold on." Arjun stood up beside me. "No, she's right. It's revolting. I've begged you to stop. All 3 of us have." Ravi was on his feet too, jaw tight. "We've told you it makes us uncomfortable. Repeatedly. You keep doing it because you find it funny." Sunita's face went scarlet. "I'm only saying how close you all. You're saying I can't tell my own husband from another man." I cut in. "You're saying Arjun should violate my consent. You're saying I married the wrong brother. None of that is a compliment." Priya spoke up, quiet but clear. "It's made me uncomfortable every single time too." Sunita stood, furious now, insisting we were all overreacting. Ravi took my hand. "We're leaving, and we're not coming back until you understand why this was wrong. Not just say sorry. Understand it." We walked out, Arjun and Priya right behind us. In the driveway, Arjun hugged me and said he should have fought harder sooner. I told him it was never his job to fix his parents. That was 6 weeks ago. His parents sent one text calling us dramatic and blaming me for splitting the family. Ravi blocked the number. So did Arjun. Priya texted me last week. She and Arjun are engaged now. She asked me to be a bridesmaid. My mother-in-law spent years telling my husband's
Oh, well, that's good. Wow, bro.
Parents who adopted older kids, what made you say yes? When my wife and I first walked into the group home, we had already been approved to adopt one child, ideally a toddler. We walked out 3 hours later having agreed to foster a 14-year-old boy named Isaac who hadn't spoken a single word in 4 years. The caseworker warned us before we met him. Isaac had been in 7 placements since he was 9. Every family sent him back within a few months. He wasn't violent, he wasn't destructive, he just refused to speak. Doctors called it selective mutism triggered by trauma. His file didn't say what the trauma was. Nobody knew. Isaac had never told anyone. He was sitting at a table in the common room when we met him, drawing in a spiral notebook. He didn't look up. My wife sat down across from him and slid a granola bar across the table. He glanced at it, then at her, then went back to drawing. That was our whole first meeting. In the car on the way home, my wife said, "We're taking him." I said, "He didn't even look at us." She said, "He looked at me once. That was enough." The first month was the hardest month of our marriage. Isaac moved into the spare room and closed the door. He came out for meals, ate quickly, and went back in. He was the most polite ghost you could imagine. My wife started leaving him little notes on his door. "Pancakes tomorrow if you want. New sketchbook on the kitchen counter. It's yours. Movie night at 7. No pressure." He never responded. But every morning the notes were gone, folded neatly, and left in a small stack on the kitchen table. We learned things about Isaac slowly. He was left-handed. He drew constantly, mostly buildings, always with impossible staircases. He was terrified of thunder. The first time it stormed after he moved in, we found him at 3 a.m. sitting in the hallway outside our bedroom, back against the wall, holding a flashlight. He wouldn't come in. He just sat there until morning. After that, my wife started leaving our bedroom door open a crack whenever the forecast said storms. He never came in, but he'd sit in the hallway, and that was something. 3 months in, we still hadn't heard his voice. He communicated by writing in a small notebook he carried everywhere. Short answers. Yes, no, thank you. He never asked for anything. Then one Sunday in October, everything changed. My wife's mother, Odette, came over for dinner. She's 78 from a small village in France, and she doesn't speak much English. She sat next to Isaac at the table and started telling him a story in French about her childhood, not caring that he couldn't understand. Isaac listened. He actually looked at her. When she finished, she reached over, patted his hand, and said the only English she knew well, "Good boy, sweet boy." Isaac's eyes filled up. That night, when I was locking up the house, I heard something from his room. I stopped and listened. He was humming, just barely, a tune I didn't recognize. I didn't tell my wife until the next morning. She cried. 4 days later, Isaac left a note on our bedroom door. It said, "Can Odette come again?" It was the first full sentence we'd ever seen him write. Odette started coming over every Sunday. She'd cook. She'd tell Isaac stories he couldn't understand. She'd pat his hand and call him sweet boy. Slowly, over weeks, Isaac started writing longer notes. Then, one Tuesday morning at breakfast, he pointed at the orange juice and whispered one word. "Please." My wife dropped her coffee mug. It shattered on the floor. Isaac froze, terrified. But my wife just laughed and said, "That's the best sound I've ever heard in my life." Isaac stared at her for a long moment. Then, for the first time since we'd met him, he smiled. The adoption was finalized 14 months later. Isaac was 15 by then. He still didn't speak much, but he spoke. He called us by our first names for the first 6 months. And one night, he was helping me carry groceries in from the car, and he said, "Thanks, Dad." I stood in the driveway for a full minute after he went inside, just holding a bag of apples, trying to breathe. Last spring, Isaac graduated high school. He gave a speech in front of 400 people. He talked about being the boy who didn't speak. He talked about 7 placements. He talked about the notes on the door and the flashlight in the hallway. Then he talked about Odette, who was sitting in the front row in her best dress. He said, "She told me stories in a language I didn't understand, but I understood her. She was the first person who didn't need me to say anything to know I was there." At the end of the speech, he looked at my wife and me and said, "And to the 2 people who left the door open a crack every time it stormed, I saw you. I always saw you. Thank you for waiting." Parents who adopted older kids, what made you say yes?
Bro. Okay. Hold on. Mm, okay. So we're gonna start speaking. So chat. Okay. Alright. Bro, I just looked at this thing. It says like a welcome note. It says, "Hello everyone, welcome to our live streams. Today we have a special guest, whoever, the head of marketing at Restream. Get ready for exclusive insights and source. Drop your questions in the chat. We love to answer them. Let's go." Bro, what? Alright. But is stream on here and pick up on Fortnite.